Okay, so have you ever had that like weird pain in your chest where you're not sure if it's like just indigestion or something worse?
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're gonna deep dive into home remedies for heart pain,
Okay,
all based on this Healthline article.
cool.
And just to be clear, like, we're not saying ditch your doctor.
Right.
If you have any unusual chest pain, especially with shortness of breath or sweating, call 911 right away. Safety first, always. But
Absolutely.
once you're sure it's not a major heart problem,
Yeah.
there are some interesting remedies you can try for the less intense, like aches and pains.
Hmm.
And that's where you come in.
Okay.
You're not just gonna like tell us what the article says, but also like why these things might actually work.
Yeah, what's really fascinating about this article is that it kind of looks at both those old school remedies, the ones that people have been using forever,
Yeah,
and then it tries to see if there's actually any scientific evidence to back them up.
I love that. So let's jump right in. The article starts with remedies that are supposed to give you like immediate relief,
Okay.
and they mention almonds, which I thought was a bit weird.
Yeah.
I've heard people say almonds help with heartburn, but then I've also heard they can trigger it.
Right.
So what's the deal with that?
Well, I think it depends on what's actually causing the heart pain,
Okay.
Almonds are alkaline, so they can neutralize stomach acid if that's what's causing the heartburn.
Uh-huh.
But they're also high in fat.
Right.
And fatty foods can relax that valve between your stomach and your esophagus, which can actually make reflux worse.
Huh. So it's kind of a gamble?
A little bit.
Interesting. What about apple cider vinegar? That seems to be like the cure for everything these days.
Right. Like, is there anything it can't do?
Yeah.
But, the truth is,
Yeah.
there's actually not a lot of scientific evidence to prove that it really helps with heartburn.
Oh, really?
But some people think that. If you have low stomach acid, apple cider vinegar might actually help because it increases acidity and improves digestion.
Okay.
But it's mostly like a theory.
Got it.
And also, important to note,
Yeah.
if you are on blood thinners, be careful with apple cider vinegar
Why?
because it can also thin your blood.
So not a magic bullet,
Not really.
but maybe worth a try depending on your situation.
Yeah.
What else does the article say for like quick relief?
Well, it mentions hot drinks, especially for gas-related chest pain.
Okay.
Warmth, it helps relax muscles, which can ease that uncomfortable pressure.
Hmm.
And they specifically call out hibiscus tea, which might not only help with digestion, but it's also been shown to be good for overall heart health.
Really?
Yeah. Studies show that it can actually lower your blood pressure, cholesterol, and triglycerides.
Wow. Hibiscus tea. I'm adding that to my list.
That's good stuff.
Now, what about a cold pack? I can see how that might help a muscle strain,
Yeah.
but how does that relate to heart pain?
Sometimes what we think is heart pain, it's actually coming from the muscles and tendons in our chest wall.
Ah.
And straining those muscles, maybe from lifting something heavy or even just like bad posture at your desk all day,
Right.
can actually cause pain.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a condition called costochondritis, which is inflammation of the cartilage that connects your ribs to your breastbone.
Mm.
And that can cause some serious chest pain too.
Oh, wow.
And a cold pack can help reduce that inflammation and give you some relief.
I actually had costochondritis a few years ago, and I thought I was having a heart attack.
It's scary,
It was terrifying.
but it's a good reminder that not every chest pain means it's your heart.
Yeah, very true. Now, the article also talks about remedies that are more for like long-term heart health.
Yeah.
Of course, a healthy diet and exercise are crucial, but what about those supplements they mentioned?
Right.
Are those worth exploring?
Well, they list a whole bunch, and it can be a bit overwhelming to figure out which ones are really effective.
Yeah.
Before we jump into that, do you take any supplements for your heart?
I don't, not specifically for my heart.
Okay.
What about you?
I take a few, but I always talk to my doctor before I start any new supplement,
That's smart.
just to make sure it's safe and doesn't interact with any medications.
Yeah, that's important.
And the quality of supplements can vary a lot,
Right.
so choosing reputable brands is key.
Good advice. Okay, let's dive into these heart-healthy supplements. First up, omega-3 fatty acids.
Right.
We always hear about the good fats,
Yeah.
but what makes them so good for our hearts?
They've been linked to all sorts of benefits, like, for example, they can actually help regulate your heart rhythm,
Oh, wow.
which can reduce the risk of arrhythmia.
Okay.
And they also lower triglycerides, which are a type of fat in your blood that can be, not so good for your heart.
So omega-3s are like heart rhythm regulators and fat busters all in one.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they can also slow down the progression of atherosclerosis.
Oh, right.
It's like, imagine rust building up in a pipe.
Okay.
It restricts the flow. And in this case, it's blood flow in your arteries. Omega-3s can help keep those arteries clear
Got it.
and healthy.
So where can I get more of these wonder fats?
Well, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, tuna.
Right.
And if you don't like fish, there are fish oil supplements.
Okay, good to know.
And speaking of concentrated doses, the next remedy is pomegranate juice.
Oh, yeah. Everyone seems to be drinking that these days.
It's having a moment.
Is it all hype or is there something to it?
It's not all hype.
Okay.
It's full of antioxidants, which are like little bodyguards for your cells, protecting them from damage.
Yeah.
And some research suggests that pomegranate juice can help manage cholesterol levels and keep your arteries healthy.
You know, I think I read somewhere that it can help prevent that rust buildup we were talking about, the atherosclerosis.
You're right. The Cleveland Clinics has done research on this, and they found that pomegranate juice might actually help lower LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol. And it can also prevent plaque buildup in your arteries.
Wow.
And that's a big deal because that plaque can restrict blood flow to your heart and increase your risk of heart problems.
Okay, pomegranate juice is officially going on my shopping list.
Good choice.
Now, the next one on the list is capsaicin, which is what makes chili peppers hot.
Yes.
What does that have to do with the heart?
I know, right? Sounds strange.
Yeah.
But it's actually been studied for its potential heart health benefits.
Really?
Yeah, there's a study in 2015 that looked at like a bunch of different ways it might help.
Okay.
And the results were pretty impressive.
Like what?
Well, they found that when applied topically, it could actually increase exercise tolerance in people with angina,
Which is?
chest pain caused by reduced blood flow to the heart.
Got it.
They also found that it might slow down the development of atherosclerosis, reduce the risk of metabolic syndrome, and even help with weight management.
Wow, that's a lot of benefits from a chili pepper.
Right. Pretty amazing.
But before I go and douse all my food in hot sauce, are there any downsides?
Well, it's important to remember that a lot of the research on capsaicin has been done on animals.
No.
So we need more studies on humans to confirm these findings.
Okay.
And while spicy food can be delicious, it can also cause digestive issues for some people.
Yeah, true.
So like anything, moderation is key.
Good advice. Okay, what about garlic? It's been used in traditional medicine forever.
Yeah, it has a long history as a heart helper.
But is there any, modern science to back that up?
There is. Research has shown that garlic extract might actually help prevent that plaque buildup in the arteries.
Oh.
And possibly even reverse some of the damage from heart disease.
Really? That's impressive.
Pretty good for something you probably have in your kitchen right now.
I love garlic, so that's good news for me. Though I have to admit, I'm not a fan of garlic breath.
Yeah, that's the one downside.
Right.
Luckily, there are odor-free garlic capsules if you want the benefits without the, consequences.
Good to know. All right, next on the list is CoQ10.
Okay.
What is that exactly?
So CoQ10, it's short for coenzyme Q10.
Okay.
It's a substance that our bodies actually produce naturally.
Huh?
It's vital for energy production in our cells, especially for the heart.
Oh, okay.
But the problem is, as we get older, our bodies produce less of it.
So does that mean we're more vulnerable to heart problems as we age?
Well, research has shown a link between low CoQ10 levels and a higher risk of chronic heart failure.
Interesting.
It might also be beneficial for regulating blood pressure and could even help prevent chest pain during exercise.
Another one to talk to my doctor about.
Definitely.
Okay, what about ginger?
Ginger.
I know it's great for settling your stomach.
Yeah.
But how does it benefit the heart?
Ginger is like a multitasker when it comes to health benefits.
Really?
It's been used for ages, and modern science is starting to understand why.
Oh.
Its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties seem to have a really positive effect on heart health.
So it's more than just a tummy soother?
Oh, for sure.
What does it do?
Well, studies suggest that it may help lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol and triglyceride levels, and even help prevent blood clots. But, important note, if you're taking blood thinners, be cautious with ginger.
Why?
Because it can enhance their effects.
So always good to talk to your doctor.
Always.
Before adding anything new, especially if you're on medication.
Exactly.
Okay, what else is on this list?
Let's see. We have curcumin next, which is the active compound in turmeric.
Oh, I love turmeric.
It's everywhere these days.
I put it on everything.
I know, right? It's so versatile.
So tell me, why is it good for the heart?
Well, back in 2013, there was a review of a bunch of clinical trials,
Okay.
and they found that curcumin might help fight inflammation, which is a big factor in heart disease.
Interesting.
And it also seemed to have a positive impact on cholesterol levels.
Really?
Yeah, the study suggested that curcumin could actually lower total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, while raising HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol.
So adding turmeric to my diet is a good thing then?
It definitely can't hurt. And it adds great flavor and color to your food.
True. True.
But again, if you're thinking about taking curcumin supplements,
Yeah.
it's always best to talk to your doctor first, especially if you have any health conditions or are taking other medications.
Good point. Now, what about alfalfa? I've heard it's a cholesterol-lowering superstar.
Alfalfa sprouts, while nutritious, haven't been extensively studied for their heart health benefits.
Oh, okay.
There is some anecdotal evidence that suggests they might help lower cholesterol. There was one study that looked at diabetic rats.
Okay.
And they found that saponins, which are compounds found in alfalfa extract,
Yeah.
reduced cholesterol levels and prevented the leakage of liver enzymes, which can be a sign of liver damage.
Interesting. So more research is needed, but it seems like it could be beneficial.
Potentially.
Okay. What about holy basil?
Holy basil.
I've heard it's good for stress, but how does that tie into heart health?
Well, holy basil is an Ayurvedic herb that's primarily used for stress management.
Right.
And here's the connection.
Okay.
Chronic stress can really wreak havoc on your heart.
Oh, wow.
It can lead to high blood pressure, cholesterol imbalances, and even trigger unhealthy coping mechanisms like overeating or smoking, which further damage your heart.
So managing stress is just as important for our hearts as eating right and exercising.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Wow. This is a lot to think about.
I know, right? It's fascinating.
But all this information, it's great, but it should never replace the advice of a healthcare professional.
Oh, for sure. If you're experiencing any kind of heart pain, especially if it is unusual or persistent, definitely talk to your doctor.
Absolutely.
These remedies should be seen as complementary to medical care, not a substitute.
Right. They're not a replacement for professional help.
Exactly. Think of it as, taking an active role in your well-being, but having a doctor on your team.
Especially when it comes to something as important as your heart.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like we've got a lot of tools in our toolkit for heart health.
We do.
But, we've been focusing on specific remedies.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that heart health is about more than just like taking a pill or drinking a certain tea.
Absolutely.
It's about creating a lifestyle that really supports your heart, right?
It is. It's like, building a house.
Okay.
You need a strong foundation.
I like that analogy.
And our hearts need that too.
So what are those like foundational elements, the things we can't skip?
Well, it all starts with what we eat, right?
Right.
A balanced diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, whole grains.
Just good stuff.
That's like giving your heart the best building materials.
And of course, we have to move our bodies.
Absolutely. Regular exercise.
Keeps things running smoothly.
Yeah, it's like keeping the engine well-oiled.
I like that.
Yeah.
And what about weight?
Maintaining a healthy weight is also super important.
Right, because carrying extra weight puts a strain on your heart.
Exactly. It's like adding extra baggage to a car,
Makes it work harder.
It makes it less efficient, puts more wear and tear in the engine.
So those are our big three: diet, exercise, healthy weight.
The foundation.
But are there other lifestyle factors that play a role?
Oh, definitely. Things like stress and sleep, they can really impact our heart health.
Yeah, stress. When I'm stressed, I definitely feel my heart racing.
It's a natural response.
And I tend to eat all the wrong things.
Yeah, that's common. But over time, that chronic stress, it takes a toll.
So finding healthy ways to manage stress is important.
Really important. Incorporate some relaxation techniques into your routine.
Like what? Give me some ideas.
Well, meditation and yoga are great. Spending time in nature can be really helpful.
Ah, nature.
Yeah, it's been shown to lower those stress hormones and blood pressure. And even just taking a few deep breaths throughout the day can make a difference.
Just breathe.
Exactly. It's about finding what works for you and making it a habit.
And speaking of habits, sleep is a big one, right? Huge. When we don't get enough sleep, our bodies produce more cortisol.
Which is the stress hormone.
Exactly. And that can negatively impact our heart health.
So getting those 7-8 hours,
It's cruel.
it's like a spa treatment for your heart.
It lets it rest and repair,
I love that.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot today, from those ancient remedies to all the latest science, supplements, lifestyle changes.
It's a lot.
What do you think is the most important thing for our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think the key message is that knowledge is power.
I agree.
The more we understand about our hearts and what keeps them healthy,
Yeah.
the better choices we can make.
We become active participants in our own health.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about making huge changes overnight.
Right.
Small changes consistently can make a big difference over time.
So whether it's adding some almonds to your snack,
Right.
or taking a walk after dinner,
Or just taking a moment to breathe,
every step counts.
it all adds up. And taking care of your heart, it's an act of self-love.
Absolutely. You're investing in your well-being.
So for those listeners who are feeling inspired, what's one small, tangible step they can take today to prioritize their heart health?
That's a good question. It depends on what speaks to each person, you know?
Yeah?
Maybe it's trying that hibiscus tea we talked about,
Okay.
or swapping out a sugary snack for a piece of food,
Good idea.
or maybe just committing to a short walk after dinner.
I like that. It doesn't have to be drastic.
No, small changes, consistently.
That's the key.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a great place to leave it for today. Cheers to healthy hearts.
Cheers.
It's amazing how much we've learned about taking care of our hearts.
I know, right? From ancient remedies to, like, modern science.
It's a whole journey, isn't it? And I keep thinking back to that, like, first twinge of chest pain, the one that kind of started it all.
Yeah, that feeling that got us thinking about all these different approaches.
Exactly. And while we always say, hey, if it's serious, call your doctor right away.
Of course. Always.
What really strikes me is how much power we have, to actually support our heart health every single day.
It's like we have this, like, hidden toolbox.
Yeah.
Full of ways to take care of ourselves.
And it's not about replacing doctors or anything. It's
Right.
about, like, being more in tune with our bodies.
And being proactive.
Yeah, exactly. So looking back on everything we've talked about, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to take away from all this?
I think it's this. Listen to your body.
Ooh, I like that.
It's always talking to us,
Sending us signals.
Right. And sometimes those little aches and pains or that feeling of fatigue, they're trying to tell us something. And with everything we've learned, we can better understand what those signals mean.
So it's not just about reacting to symptoms.
Yep.
It's about making choices that support our hearts.
Every single day.
So whether it's like grabbing some almonds for a snack or adding turmeric to our dinner.
Yeah, or taking a few minutes to just breathe.
All those little things add up.
They really do.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
What's one tiny habit, something you can do today to show your heart some love?
Ooh, that's good. It could be anything,
Yeah.
A short walk, a gratitude practice, even just a glass of water.
It all makes a difference.
It does. Remember, even the smallest steps can lead to a healthier heart.
That's so true. Well, on that note, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those hearts strong.
And happy diving, everyone.
See you next time.